Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mario here once again, and I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and we are back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, and My Little Pony fans, and Brownie fans out there, welcome back to my Let's Play of My Little Pony Harmony Quest from the iPhone devices, or iOS for short, or especially notable for Android devices. So, yeah, last time we did manage to, continuously able to grab ourselves some elemental pieces of shards and all that stuff. And in addition to that though, we also managed to collect ourselves some elements of harmony, so that we actually did done the 50% progression of the forms of the elements of harmony themselves. So today for this episode is the fact that we're going to be moving on to even collect even more mirror shroud pieces and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with we're gonna go back to Manhattan. So even know that for these few sets of ponies we're gonna be selecting through this time is the forms of, well, let's just say we'll go back to Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Rarity Routine ever since the the episodes being Sleepless in Ponyville and the cards before the ponies from both season 3 and 6. So yeah, I don't know what it is for our feelings for today, is because it has been quite a few days since actually coming back to this game actually, because of how the fact that well, it's been about 3 months since we actually did coming back into that game, enjoying the likes of touching the game itself, because of how the fact that, well, today folks is the fact that today's the day is the fact that the My Little Pony the Movie 2017 DVD has been just released today. So even though specifically in UK countries, because I know for the fact that North America already has that film already. So that makes it pretty much that's as far as you can get with the amount of context wise, especially notable where DVDs release are about to be coming by. So you know, you get the idea. And plus, in addition to that though, Mario, we actually got ourselves 2 more days left until Valentine's Day. So even then, I need to get Tiana something, and you're gonna get Peach something. So even then, that might be surprising, doesn't it? Yeah, especially notable how days is going really fast and all that stuff, because today was the 12th of February after all. But we still have no luck of Nintendo Direct stuff just yet. But even then, we'll definitely find out soon enough. But even then, that's all I can really come across to say about this. But even then, not much to tell besides the fact that I'm presuming we're almost at the halfway point of the actual game itself, because obviously we need to still collect those stained glass window pieces before we get into the 50% part of the game. So even then, that everything else is going to be check out there. So yeah, we're going to have to be deal with these kinds of stuff a lot. So yeah, that's all I can really tell about that. So okay, hopefully we'll catch up to him. Bingo! We got him just in time. And yeah, sometimes my footage attempts to lag sometimes, but even though that's what capture cards normally are for. So, yeah, you know when we did manage to upload the other 2 parts of this particular Let's Play so far, that our color palettes of, during the recording sessions can be a bit washed out at times? Well, luckily though, we did manage to fix that issue whenever, as you can see, the quality on the image looks absolutely good. Even though it wasn't as nearly as high as compared to the other Let's Plays like this, but even then, that's just all we can able to actually come across into. But anyway, for the next 4 ponies we're going to be selecting through, we'll still keep Applejack and Rainbow Dash. And the replacement of Rarity is the forms of Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy this time, which are the forms of the actual episode from Season 6, which is Episode 18, called, Buckball Season. So that makes it pretty obvious of how the fact that, well, as you can tell that the Rainbow Dash and Applejack are the coaches from actually able to compete against in the Buckball Season. So whilst the both Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy are the competitors or the players of the actual Buckball. So yeah, that makes it a little bit more. It makes sense, I guess. I've no idea why my touchscreen device doesn't seem to work on me sometimes, but even I know it might still work even to this fine though. But anyway, so yeah, we're going back to Ponyville as you can see here, because of how the fact that we're gonna have to grab the more remainings of Applejack's stained glass window pieces. So that makes it pretty obvious of how the progressions is going. And as far as this point that, the later levels every now and then, that we're gonna have to carry 4 ponies in the actual points from it this time around though. But hey, They said something we can able to actually just, you know, get used to it with it though. So, yeah, again, not much to say because you know how the fact that My Little Pony the Movie 2017 DVD is now finally released in our country, so very happy about that actually because, well, after all, that we do enjoy the film, don't get me wrong, back in during the last year, but even then, I'm really glad to able to actually watch that film again just to see how, some extra content they actually includes. Well, I do know there's going to be a deleted scene, which is originally going to be planned in for the actual film itself, but they just managed to use that for the likes of these little special features introduced. And also the Equestria Girls shorts, exclusive shorts I should say, which we'll never know until whenever we started up the DVD throughout it though yet. But even then though, we'll find things out for this point. And also, judging by the fact that we actually got ourselves, I was assuming behind the scenes footage and all that stuff, especially noticeable with baking with Pinkie Pie, cooking video, as far as I might say, because normally that's what cooking videos are. It's pretty much uncommon to see how the fact that we actually got ourselves the cooking videos in some of these DVDs during throughout, because there are rare occasions when it usually has that though. I think they did probably advertise that due to how the fact that before the film was about to be released. Well, speaking of such, we got ourselves our greedy cat right there, and the cat's weakness is definitely water. Just because, you know, cats cannot swim. Well, technically dogs can swim though, or else cats, especially with kittens and all that stuff, are pretty much, well, been so negative about water because obviously they can't swim properly because, you know, they cannot able to become strong enough to able to swim enough. So there we go, because that's our apple right there, represents the Applejack's cutie mark. So I guess that makes it pretty obvious to see of how the individual stained glass window pieces are actually represents the cutie marks themselves. Alright, so nah, we're gonna have to close that up because even I know that we have no time for wasting for our rented and all that stuff, or rated I should say. Let's head back to Cloudsdale, but this time we're gonna be selecting, I don't know, maybe it's entirely up to us to be able to pick any of the ponies this time because, it's kind of hard to think about that, which of those ponies that we're actually going to be selecting for, even for, well, until later on, that's it. So even then, for the time being, let's go for, Team Unicorn, which is Twilight Sparkle and Rarity, and, the two, you know, pretty cool best friends ever since, you know, episodes, episode 8 in Season 5, which is the Lost Treasure of the Griffinstone. That, are forms of Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. So, we'll leave, Fluttershy and Applejack, for the time being until we get to the later stages. So, or to be more accurate, the revisiting incarnations of the exact same locations with several differences, but I digress. So, anyway though, yeah, let's go ahead and just kick the likes out of this changeling's head. You can just simply just bash on its head, so you can know that it doesn't matter what weak spots you're going to be aiming at, so it doesn't matter if it's either its head or its body, so that it's entirely up to you. Man, I love that music, by the way. It's actually from Sonic Mania. For those of you who might have recognized this music, Press God in Zone Act 2. I actually really love this theme. Especially noticeable that we've recently played through Sonic Mania most of the time on the, both the PlayStation 4 and, Nintendo Switch version. So, man, I really love that track. Yeah, me too. Especially how energetic that was. Yeah, but even then though, that's as far as we can actually expect it for our classic Sonic games to be like that. But hey, this is pretty funky too. Okay, so let's continue. We need to be pretty fast at this one point right there, because you know, we don't wasting time on these particular parts worth noting for. But anyway, let's get this cocoon out of the way, and let's see if there's a changeling. Yeah, so we're gonna have to like kick his butt no matter what. So anyway. Now, you remember how the fact that Mickey Mouse did already mention about this and during the likes of Kirby's Adventure Let's Play, that he've already established that from the likes of, I would say, predictions or originally plans, which is the forms of the My Little Pony, well, obviously Season 8 will be on its way, so even then, and then also next year we get ourselves Season 9, in this case the final season of the actual Friendship is Magic show, which, again, I really do miss the actual show until when it gets to 2020, because they start to now move it on to developed Generation 5 later on until 2020 at some point or another. Or even making a prequel of the actual My Little Pony the movie prequel, which even then we don't know exactly for sure yet. And I was really hoping that we can able to some suspicions of how the fact that we're gonna be making well, it's not gonna be impossible for us to, because I decided to let the company allows us to able to actually have a capability to able to create the DVD compilation, or the Blu-ray compilation I should say, of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the top 100, which actually represents the well, I'll get to more details a bit later, and there goes our sound, or in this case the game audio. Oh, that's kind of terrible, but we'll try to fix that out as soon as we can able to actually do even more levels afterwards. So, we're gonna go back to the Crystal Empire right there to get the balloon stained glass window, and we'll go for well, just simply put Applejack, Fluttershy, and Rarity, and Pinkie Pie, even though that we already keep Pinkie Pie and Rarity at the same time, but replacements of those two is definitely both Applejack and Fluttershy. So yeah, if you probably couldn't tell what the actual music is from, I know it's a bit too quiet around here in case if you probably have not heard of this before. I think it's Gransley because we have to actually adjust the game audio, or in this case just the customizable music stuff on here into the actual games themselves. But anyway though, so yes, nothing really happened on the actual sound effect, or even especially noticeable with just sound effects in general, because I do apologize of how this happens. I think the only time when this only happens is whenever we charged up our phone up, or even especially occasionally in iPads, that sometimes our game audio, the actual game audio in some applications tend to turn off, which even end up, that can get traumatizing at the same time. But anyways, but we do love this music though in the background, so even end up, as you guys can clearly recognize that theme. In case if you haven't heard of it, then I suggest you turn the volume up, even though our commentary is still a little bit loud and obnoxious at one point, but still, can't deny that. Alright, so let's kick that cocoon here. And hopefully we can able to, you know, kick the likes of the Changeling, as we expected. So yeah, I can't believe how we actually gone for this game really damn fast and quick. Especially noticeable how we're gonna have to do the exact same thing over and over again, which even then though, it doesn't bother me too much, I gotta have to admit though right away. But hey, okay, I think we got a volume up for this point and onwards for that music going on here, but it's not 100% agreement, but hey, at least it's fine I suppose. But anyway though, let's go for Rarity on this one, because it's nothing bad for Fluttershy, it's just that it takes a little bit longer to be able to deal with that particular drawing sequence and all that stuff. But the rest is just basically, just, you know, quick, with flexibility, stuff there. But hey, at least it's something. Alright, so it seems like we've almost catching up to the Changeling at this point, so we've just literally got, I would say 2 more sections left, or probably 1 more. It all depends though, really. Man, I love this little cutie dance right there for Pinkie Pie. It always reminds me like a Kirby dance from the Kirby series, but except there's no jingle or anything. So, anyway. Alright, so now we catch up to him now, and seems more accurately, we have obtained the balloon stained glass piece. Yeah, again, it's a little bit too quiet in this video, honestly, guys, because even then, that's why it usually does that in technical difficulties with uploading schedules and all that stuff, so I must admit that I really do apologize for that, folks. But hopefully we'll fix that during the later parts of this video, but for now on, though, let's just go ahead and hit into, the Everfree Forest once again, but, this time we're gonna be using, we'll still keep Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. Actually, we might as well, use Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, and Applejack and Pinkie Pie represents Team Unicorns and Team Earth Ponies. So, 2 teams all in one go. So, that makes it pretty obvious. So, now we're gonna have to grab ourselves the Birdhouse stained glass piece until we're able to fit in onto Fluttershy's, well, stained glass windows department right there. And of course we got ourselves the Venus, I wouldn't say the Venus flytrap, but it's more accurately a contraption of any trap, which we don't wanna, don't wanna get hit by it. So I've noticed that back in 2013, we did match the first time we've ever saw the My Little Pony, the video game rather, that's based off I would say technically a fan game of any kind, and that was in forms of I can't remember what that game is actually called now, because that's been a long time since I actually researched on that stuff. It's been about 5 years since we've last time we were able to actually watch the first ever My Little Pony video game we've ever consist of. Well, technically the first ever video game of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic franchise is based on was actually developed by Gameloft, who also did done through Sonic Runner's Adventure recently. And especially notable with, what's the other ones to be exactly? Disney Magical Castles of any kind. I can't remember what that game was actually called now. Oh, Magical Quests. Which, that effort always pops out in my head every time when we try to get free gems whenever we play that game on our own time. Which even then, nothing wrong about it, it's just it feels a little bit too old really fast at one point, even for downgraded updates and all that stuff. But nothing to complain about that, it's just that, well, it just gets a little bit too repetitive every time when it pops up like twice in a row in one day or another. That's only because of how the fact that, well, that game has also been developed by Gameloft, so that could be same applies to Sonic Unleashed for the mobile devices, but it's now been, well, now outdated due to how the fact that clunky controls there are, especially in touchscreen it's usually functioned for. But usually that's all we can get. Alright, so I believe we almost catch up to at this point. I believe we're now going to be able to, yep, finish the level as normal. Eat that, changeling! Take that! So yeah, that's all I can really come by throughout. But yeah, at least it's something. Alright, so we got ourselves a nice little birdhouse stained glass piece. So naturally, we've got 3 more stained glass window pieces for each pony now. So, well, at least the only exception is Rarity on the other hand. But even then, no, we're trying to get her that eventually, though. Especially noticeable with Twilight Sparkle as well. And speaking of such, the next stained glass window piece we're gonna be getting is the forms of Spike the Dragon. Not to be confused as Spike from the Mario universe, but the forms of a different species from both Super Mario Bros. 3, which is originated from it, and also the most recent playable character in Mario Party 10 for the Wii U, which is Spike himself. And we're gonna have to return back to Canterlot, and we're still gonna keep Rarity again, and also Twilight Sparkle by the forms of Team Unicorn's routine. But now our replacements this time around is the forms of Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy means Team Pegasus. So it makes it pretty obvious to see how there are some really oddballsy teams selection, as far as I might as well conceived it by it. So anywho, but hopefully we'll actually gonna have the ability to able to actually go through 5 pony selection instead of like 2, 3, or 4. But even then, we can't do it just one pony because they'll just get hurt or afraid of it at this point. But normally that's what teamwork is for, teamwork. Because, teamwork is key here. Yeah, no, because that's the key element for the actual, these action-adventure games, they, especially RPG games especially, that they always try to force you to be able to deal with some teams you have to create, especially ever since, Final Fantasy, Super Mario RPG, and especially notable with Paper Mario, the Nintendo 64 installment, and even Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door for the GameCube, and also Mario and Luigi series, and yeah, that's what I can really cover by. So the only exception has been the only 2 exceptions being forms of Sticker Star for Paper Mario and Color Splash for Paper Mario, because it's just Mario for the entire time, which even I know I really do miss the old days. They're trying to bring up the the absence of any partner system of any kind. Well, at least I was hoping if the Nintendo Switch saves Paper Mario for that tradition, to actually hopefully just trying to bring up the HD re-release version of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, because even then that way I can play that game on the go, and especially noticeable how the fact that we can able to actually have hopefully, partner system all over again now, which even then though, I really do miss the old days like this. Yeah, I know. But even then though, that must have been for almost about 14 years ago since Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door first released in 2004 still. But even then though, as far as I've still already noticed is that that game is now almost really expensive because, you know, I don't know about you though, Sonic, but even then though, that's just how it is when it comes to games like this. It's gone pretty ramped up in prices, so you know what I mean. So, yeah, we don't know if we're actually gonna get ourselves Banjo-Tooie for Nintendo 64, although we love to, but not now though, because we still got, well, Kirby Star Allies will be on its way next month, and especially noticeable with the Nintendo Switch ports of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on that one point or another, and even Mario Tennis Aces on the Switch eventually too. So there we go, we got ourselves Spike the Dragon right there. I think that was the only time we're going to be seeing Spike in this particular video, so yeah, that's all I can usually say about this here. Alright, so now we need to get ourselves one last stained glass window for this video until we're able to actually done with this particular part. Okay, quicker right there. We do somehow realize that we totally forgot to able to not only unplug our phone charger real quickly, but also we got ourselves our sound bag. So there we go, problem solved. And for this last level we're going to be doing for this video, and I believe we're going to be heading back to Manhattan one last time for this video, and then hopefully we can able to actually get ourselves 50% completion of the forms of, well, basically for the sake of stained glass window pieces. And we're still going to be keeping Twilight Sparkle and Rarity again, and the replacements this time is the forms of Applejack and Rainbow Dash. So yeah, we're gonna go for the Manhattan right there, but even then, since this is basically based off from New York City, well, unfortunately, somehow we ended up in a Crisis City music, as you can tell right there, even though, despite the fact it doesn't contain flames, or in this case, Iblis Trigger is not gonna be in here anytime. At least I'm hoping not, though, because even then, that just makes the actual place go really, deserted. Anyway though, so let's go ahead and deal with this key puzzle yet again. It's been a while since I've actually gone through all that stuff, ever since Everfree Forest and all that stuff. Okay, I have no idea how I'm just seem to able to drag on with this section right there for some reason though. Yeah, as you can see on the bottom right there for a few seconds ago, that since that changeling is almost nearly towards the end of the actual level length bar, if you managed to wait there for a few seconds ago, if you managed to stand there for a few seconds, the changeling will go away. So even then, the only time you do need to able to actually complete the level is by simply you have to retry the level. So that's the thing you need to keep an eye out. So especially noticeable that you don't want to be, you know, too soon or too late or whatever. But even then, that's as far as how it usually goes with that system goes. Alright, so let's kick the likes out of this little changeling's butt. There's no invincibility frames, I just realized, from that after when the changeling gets hit by that rock. Jeez. Okay, so we're pretty much almost there, but even then, oh yeah, we got ourselves a liver to activate. Let's let Rainbow Dash can do this part. Yeah, so that she will able to actually pull down the liver and create a bridge opening. Almost like a castle of any sort, or even then, almost very similar to the no, not Castle, oh actually, kind of like Castlevania, but also at the same time, Dragon Slayer series, which even then, well, specifically in the first game, despite the fact in the first game, specifically if you ever, excuse me, sorry about that, normally there's actually a drawbridge, scene where you're gonna have to avoid this little, monster from the water, which even then, that makes it pretty obvious. And speaking of flames, we got ourselves our Iblis Trigger Flame, and he's already exposed. Yup, especially that you don't want to see Iblis Trigger ever again. At least I'm hoping not, though, as I mentioned earlier. And I'm pretty sure enough, we've now captured up to our changeling, and we got ourselves the stained glass piece window for Rarity's Cutie Mark, which is the forms of just the diamond shaped. Because, you know, she really loves gems or jewelries and all that stuff, including Chaos Emeralds, if you must have realized about this. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that actually. Anyway, so we're gonna have to end things off here, folks, I'm afraid. So tune us next time on Let's Play My Little Pony Harmony Quest. is the fact that we're going to be still continue on with actually grabbing the rest of the stained glass windows, and everything else will be simple and clean, if you're gonna say that much until now. So anyway, see you guys next time. Later, fellas. See you guys then.